Creating impactful and lasting change is a mission, a vision, and a movement. Welcome to Nonprofit Voices of Impact, the show that will delve into the heart of the nonprofit world, showcasing the leaders and change makers who are driving meaningful transformation in our community. Through engaging interviews, real-life success stories, and valuable insights, this podcast highlights the passion, innovation, and dedication that fuels nonprofits across Westchester County. Whether you're a nonprofit leader or advocate, Nonprofit Voices of Impact empowers you with the knowledge and inspiration to make a powerful difference. I'm your host, Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I'm joined by my co-host, Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs, Business Council of Westchester. Nonprofit Voices of Impact is sponsored by New York Presbyterian and PCSB Bank. Thank you for your support of the BCW Podcast Network. We have an amazing episode for you today featuring two incredible leaders, Kim DeMilia, Executive Vice President, Division Head, Commercial Lending of PCSB Bank, and Tiffany S.W. Hamilton, CEO of the YWCA of White Plains in Central Westchester. PCSB has been a proud supporter of the YWCA's mission, and today we'll dive into the incredible work being done to create lasting change in the community. Nonprofit Voices of Impact is sponsored by New York Presbyterian and PCSB Bank. Thank you both for your support of the BCW Podcast Network.
Kim, to begin, thank you for your support of Nonprofit Voices of Impact. We're so excited to have you and Tiffany with us today. To start, could you both introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your backgrounds?
So I'll start. I've been in banking for 30 years. As is typical in the market, I took some time off for my daughter, and I came upon PCSB, and I'm really, really proud to be there. And it's just been a great experience, and it's good to be part of a community company where we support our community, we support our not-for-profits. And I met Tiffany actually at a lunch, and once you hear her speak, you just get drawn in. So I was super proud to be asked to be on the board, and I'm super proud to be the treasurer. And I'm really proud of all the things that we're doing.
And I'll just say, even though this show is Nonprofit Voices of Impact, PCSB is a wonderful community bank. You care greatly about the community, and anyone who is fortunate enough to work with Kim DeMilia as their banker and their advisor is very, 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 very fortunate, because you are a great business partner and a great partner to the community organizations that you support, including the YWCA.
Absolutely. And if I could tag on to that, a great banker, advisor, and advocate. And when you think about serving in that nonprofit space and building out a board, partnering with entities like PCSB, who are fortunate to have leaders like Kim DeMilia that are that advocate, not only for the agency's growth, but for your personal and professional growth as well, that is invaluable as a leader of a nonprofit. And so the voice you're hearing, I'm Tiffany Hamilton, CEO of the YWCA of White Plains in Central Westchester. And I will say this is part of my divine assignment because my background is higher education administration, advocacy at a different level, right? Access at a different level. And then for community folks to tap me on the shoulder and say, you know what, I think it's time for you to unlock another level of leadership and explore this opportunity. I was hesitant, right? And I think hesitancy in leadership comes from knowing you're an answer, but the uncertainty of what the challenges may be. And so when you look at an organization like the YW, number one, its mission is to eliminate racism, empower women, and foster peace, justice, and dignity for everyone. Like, who doesn't want to do that? And so to be able to partner with an organization that's been in the community for 95 years was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So really excited to be a part of advancing the mission on the shoulders of great women leaders from the community that have positioned the YW to do the work and advance the mission. So excited about that.
And Tiffany, the YWCA, as you said, is such a multifaceted organization, from advocacy to direct services to movement building. You've talked a little bit about your mission. So what does that mission look like in action every day for the people you serve?
Listen, I always say there's never a dull day at the YWCA. And so the first entry point for me was to recognize that we were more than the health and wellness arm of our work, right? Many of us, when they hear the YW, they remember their kids going to camp, having a fantastic time in gymnastics, and learning how to swim at the YW, right? But when you dive more deeply into the mission and how it's infused into the day-to-day, you see it show up in the arm of our family justice. So that's our court supervised visits and safe exchange. That's the 3 child care centers that we run in courthouses throughout the community. That's our economic empowerment arm through our women's residence over on North Broadway, where we house 193 of Westchester's best gyms, right? They're navigating some challenging times, but we get to serve as that support system, providing the permanent and supportive housing with wraparound services. It shows up in our Children's Learning Center. It shows up in our Freedom School that we brought to White Plains. That is a national partnership with the Children's Defense Fund. The first time in the city of White Plains history, and now we're expanding this summer into Peekskill. That's specifically focused on increasing the literacy rates of our youth in our communities. And so you hear the mission, you hear the YW, and there are certain things that come to mind, but I am on a mission just to tell the story of the depth of work that we do in our community.
That is beautifully said, and I did not fully realize the many, many resources you offer. It's very, very powerful, and you touch thousands of lives across Westchester. Can you walk us through some of the YWCA's flagship programs and share the kind of impact they're making in the community? I mean, you've started, and it's amazing.
Absolutely. So one of the initiatives that we have under our arm of economic empowerment is really creating spaces where women can come together and strengthen their skills, whether that's through technology, whether that's through financial literacy. If they're exploring new career opportunities, folks are drawn into this 6-week experience for those hard skills in the workplace, but when they complete the program, they're really complementary of the soft skills that they develop, right? We help restore confidence in women that maybe they're going through this because they just experienced a divorce or they were furloughed from their job. We know what that does to the psychosocial development and confidence of women. So we spend a lot of time rebuilding that, and we partner with entities like PCSB, where they come in and they take the banking language and make it very plain. And not only do they make it plain, but it restores confidence that I may be here today, but if I make this short-term investment, I'll be here tomorrow. It shows up in how we, I want to talk a little bit about the piggy banks, that we were able to introduce the financial literacy curriculum to 2, 3, and 4-year-olds in our Children's Learning Center to get them thinking early about investing and saving. And the power of money really lies with the person and the choices you make. And so it shows up in so many different ways, and we're fortunate enough to be able to tell that story through the women we serve. I like to tell folks we support folks from the cradle to the rocking chair with our health and wellness programs. We have a large retirement community in our service area that are looking for those opportunities to do chair yoga, Zumba. We'll be bringing in line dancing. That's the new phase now on TikTok with the little fans. And so creating spaces where community can come together regardless of where they are on their life's journey. And that's how we want to position the YW as that community partner.
I want to talk, Tiffany, about Let Women Lead campaign. It's such a powerful rallying call. What sparked this initiative, and how does it align with the broader systemic change that the YWCA is pushing for?
So one of the things about the YWCA, when you dig into the history, number one, it was founded in 1865. We all know what was afforded to and not afforded to women during that time. So when you think about women coming together to found an organization specifically to create housing opportunities, community, and workforce development for women during that time, and then to make the bold decision in the 1930s to integrate, to say that we as women of a certain hue need to make room for other women to be a part of this advancing and development. this organization has been committed to women's leadership from its founding. So we thought it necessary to launch this campaign to let women lead, not from a place of permission, but from a place of trusting women, investing in our young women to identify what power they hold both academically, socially, and economically, and do that in partnership with our allies. And so when people hear the Let Women Lead campaign, it is not in isolation for women alone, but that rallying call to say it takes all of us to create rooms like the one we're in right now. When you think of the board that we have and working with our board treasurer, Kim, and how she's leading in business and industry, making room for those stories to be told, for young women to see themselves, and making sure that that becomes a part of the story and the narrative, regardless of what may be swirling around us. So we're committed to doing that in our services, our supports, and our programs.
That is incredible. And one of the YWCA's most critical programs is the Women's Residence, which provides essential support to women facing housing insecurity. Can you tell us about this unique model and the wraparound services that the residents receive?
Absolutely. So when a woman meets the criteria to live within our residence, there are certain pieces that I want to bring voice to that they commit to restricting themselves from. And sometimes that means their family, because our residence doesn't allow for children or family to stay. So it is a commitment for the woman to be grounded in the support services that we offer through our case managers. It is also we build out an experience where they partner with our local businesses that come in to do workshops on financial planning, but also the health and wellness, right? Mm-hmm. We have a significant amount of our women in our residence who are over the age of 65. And so when you think about the services and support that population needs, we partner with a lot of health providers and education providers so that those women can have the resources and tools that they need to age in place if they so choose, but then also creating community in those spaces as well. So we do lots of fun programming, whether it's our Sisters Village, our boutique shop where they can come and get clothes, whether it's for job interviews or day-to-day, and fun things like karaoke. We do that as well. So
it's good to have fun. Having fun is very important, as is singing. You're listening to the BCW Podcast Network. This is Nonprofit Voices of Impact. I'm Marsha Gordon with my co-host Linda Tyler from the Business Council of Westchester, and we will be right back. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted best in business banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite.
We are back on the BCW Podcast Network. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Kim DeMilia, Executive Vice President, Division Head, Commercial Lending of PCSB Bank, and Tiffany S.W. Hamilton, CEO of the White Plains and Central Westchester YWCA. All about the incredible work that you're doing at the YWCA. Let's talk a little bit about health and wellness, because it's becoming a really growing focus for the YWCA and really the world and beyond. What does wellness mean in the context of your work, and how are you weaving it into your programs?
Absolutely. Wellness is on the top of mind for all of the constituents that we serve. And, I mentioned earlier that we serve from the cradle to the rocking chair. And one of the things that I want to ensure doesn't get lost in our health and wellness work is our senior population. So we have curated experiences, both in person and virtual, to offer nutritional health cooking, classes, healthy cooking, but there's also the opportunity for folks to come inside with lap swim and heart health wellness. We also have programming around those that are caregivers for aging parents, because we recognize those are conversations that need to be had in our communities to prepare folks. So health and wellness is more than just the fitness and the physical fitness, but we're committed to the heart health, to the mental health, and the physical health as well.
And Tiffany, family justice is often under-resourced and misunderstood. How is the YWCA supporting justice-involved families? And what does comprehensive support look like in this space?
Absolutely. It's really being the YW without walls. And what I mean by that is, for example, the child care centers that we run in the courthouses, that's outside of our service area technically. So we're in White Plains, but we're also in New Rochelle. We're also in Yonkers, because we recognize that healthy families really are the cornerstone to thriving communities. And so as long as organizations like YW position ourselves to support families navigating those challenging times, our communities are much more healthier. Workplaces are better when childcare is afforded to families, when they have to go visit the judge to talk about the court supervised visits or to give an update on those experiences. We have the childcare centers at no cost to those families to ensure that they make those appointments.
It's a great service. It's absolutely terrific.
And you're thinking about the entire family and every component, which is a huge impact on the health and well-being of Westchester families. Beyond your direct services, the YWCA is also engaged in a broader movement network and work. How are you advancing gender equality and racial justice in the Westchester community and beyond?
Thank you for that question. When you think about the YWCA, at heart, we're an advocacy organization. So when we think about gender equity and pay, we were just in Albany for Advocacy Day to really look at human service workers and increasing the from 2.1% COLA to 7.8%. And that advocacy resulted in it being in the one house budget.
I saw that.
Fingers crossed,
yes,
right?
Fingers crossed, yes.
Yes. So really advancing that work. And when we talk about equity and racial justice, we want to be a space where we create opportunities for those conversations to be had, where it's a safe space, but it's also a learning space, equipping folks with facts and knowledge to advance equity and justice in that space as well.
That leads us to the rest of our conversation, but first let's take a break to listen to our sponsors, New York Presbyterian and PCSB Bank. You're listening to the BCW Podcast Network. This is Nonprofit Voices of Impact, co-hosted by myself, Marsha Gordon, and Linda Tyler, and we will be right back. New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted best in business banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the BCW Podcast Network. This is Nonprofit Voices of Impact. Kim, Tiffany, Marsha, and I have been having a fantastic conversation about the YWCA's powerful mission, the impact they're making, and the life-changing programs they provide in our community.
So, for everyone listening to this wonderful podcast, whether you're individuals, your families, your funders, your businesses, your community partners, what are some of the most important ways, Tiffany, that our listeners and your other stakeholders can support the YWCA's mission?
I think the answer is simple. It's the time, the talents, and the treasures. There's one simple way to do that on Friday, May 9th, in supporting our annual gala in the Company of Women, where we're coming together and celebrating folks who, in partnership with the YW, help us advance our mission. So you can check us out on our website to get more information about that. But that's Friday, May 9th. It's always the Friday before Mother's Day. We'll be recognizing and celebrating women-owned businesses that will be there with their services and products. And so it's a great opportunity to celebrate community and folks doing well. But then there's also the opportunity to serve on boards. Nonprofits thrive when folks from business and industry leverage their skills and their talents to make us better employers of folks in our communities, but better advancers of our organizational mission. So time, talents, and treasures are always a great way to help and support the great work we're doing over at the YWCA.
Great. Let's talk about that gala again.
Absolutely. So in the Company of Women will take place Friday, May 9th at 11:30 a.m. Some of our honorees include some names like Allison Lake, who is
fabulous
longtime advocate, right?
Yes.
The Honorable Benjamin Boykin, who has been a longtime supporter of the YWCA. Westchester Medical Center,
my goodness.
When we talk about the women's residents, some of the work that we're able to do is because of that longstanding partnership. And the gem that I want to share is Gwendolyn Niles. She is a native of Valhalla, went to high school in Valhalla, raised in North White Plains, and is co-owner of Krabby Shack, which is in the Barclay Center in Brooklyn. So it's to tell that story of the great things that have been birthed from White Plains. And might I mention, she cut her teeth in our gymnastics program. So seeing that connection of the YW with some of the honorees and telling that story, we're really excited about it. And if you know me, you know I love a good time. So there will be a DJ and lots of great energy to celebrate the great honorees that we have.
And we hope you raise a lot of money and do good and continue to do the great work you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everyone will have a fabulous time.
Absolutely.
Cannot wait for this event. Well, looking ahead, what's next? Are there any exciting new initiatives or opportunities on the horizon that you want to share today?
Absolutely. Just want to highlight that we literally are becoming the YW without walls. The partnership that we have with the city of Peekskill, we're really excited to be able to not only host Freedom School, which is a 6-week summer camp opportunity that is offered at no cost to those families. We will be able to serve 120 young people this summer in that experience, as well as run our summer camp in Peekskill. So really excited about the expanded partnership, but the increased impact. And one nugget that I will share, we were able to increase the reading literacy of our children. Of our 83% of our participants in our Freedom School increased their reading literacy as if they received 9 months of instruction during that 6-week process.
Wow.
So we want to take that model.
Impactful.
It's an amazing program.
Very impactful for the future.
Absolutely.
And what age range for kids?
Rising kindergarten through 5th graders.
Wow.
And so we're always open for volunteers to come read to our children, but really excited about that.
So let me just ask you about leadership, because leading in this space isn't easy. It's urgent, it's personal, and it's challenging. How do you sustain this work, and how do you keep your team motivated and grounded? And also, there's a great economic impact of your work. Can you talk a little bit about that before we close?
Absolutely. I will say from the leadership standpoint, number one, it's about surrounding yourselves with women like you, Dr. Gordon, Linda, and Kim, right? And I model for my leadership team that all of us have a VIP reservation to one particular room, and that's the room for improvement. And so if I'm surrounding myself with women who are sharing their blueprint, who are coaching me on areas where I can grow stronger, my team is more likely to be receptive to that. And so I have to ensure that we create spaces for that learning to happen, for that support to happen, for that failure to happen, and for us to learn through that together. And when you do that, people show up to work. Now, this is the cheat code. They work longer when they know that you're investing in them. They're excited to stay longer, to work through the problem, to get to the solution quicker. And so when you think of the economic impact, that allows for our programs to operate at a level of efficiency that they otherwise would not have operated at. So when you think about the economic impact of nonprofit leadership or nonprofit organizations, it happens when you invest in leaders, and then it also happens when you make sure that the programs and services that you offer are efficient, they're impactful, they're measurable, and you're telling that story.
And you tell it so well. You tell it so well.
Kim and Tiffany, thank you again for your support, Nonprofit Voices of Impact, and for the great work you're doing, and for being such great partners in uplifting the nonprofit work that you do and Westchester County. Tiffany, we are so grateful for the incredible work that you and the YWCA are doing every day to empower and support our community. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you both on this show. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you again to our sponsors, New York Presbyterian and PCSB, and of course to our listeners.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more, go to thebcw.org.